You're watching Reality Check. In the countdown to the Karnataka elections, fresh controversy for Karnataka's beleaguered Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai. In a purported audio leak, his law minister J.C. Madhuswamy is heard telling a social worker that the BJP government in Karnataka is not being run, just simply being managed.
ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಸರ್
ಸಲೀಸ್ ಸಾಕಿ 8 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅಂತ
ಸರ್
ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಕಣಪ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು.
Now, these comments by the minister reportedly came after the social worker on this phone call complained to the minister about farmers being charged high interest by banks. Here is a longer version of that same leaked audio.
ಹೌದು
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಭಾಸ್ಕರ್ ಅಂತ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ವರ್ಕರ್ ಚನ್ನಪಟ್ಟಣದಿಂದ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಇದು VSSN ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 50,000 ಸಾಲ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ರೈತರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರಿನ್ಯೂವಲ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 1,300 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನವರೇ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವರೇ ಫುಲ್ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ನ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ 1,300 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂತ ಇದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೇ.
ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತು.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್,
ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿದೀವಿ.
ಸರ್
ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ತಿಂತಾವ್ರೆ, ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ತಗರ್ತಾವ್ರೆ, ಅದ್ರೂ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಾವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್
ಅವ್ರೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ಜರುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋಲ್ಲ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ನಾನು.
ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ ರೀತಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇದು ನೋಡಕ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ.
ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಸರ್
ಸಲೀಸ್ ಸಾಕಿ 8 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅಂತ
ಸರ್
ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಕಣಪ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು.
Only 8 months left for the elections. The government is being managed, says the law minister. This at a time when the Karnataka Chief Minister has been rocked by allegations of being a quote-unquote puppet CM, serving his time till he's replaced. Just days ago, some BJP leaders had hinted that the CM might even be replaced before Independence Day. The BJP in New Delhi had denied this, as had the Chief Minister. But the law minister's audio has revived the controversy. Speaking to the press, Mr. Bommai acknowledged that the tape was genuine but played down its implications.
ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ತಪ್ಪರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ, ಏನೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸೆಟಲ್.
Quoted out of context as the Chief Minister, but the Law Minister told the media that he said what he did because he was provoked, but said he did agree with the person on the other end of the line that the government was not working.
ಅವ್ರು ಅಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಮರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರೊವೊಕೇಶನ್ ಅವನೇನು ಅಂದಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯೆ, ಹೂಕೊಂಬಿಡಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೀತಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ನು ಯಾವ್ದು ಎಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಯಾವ್ದು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ನನಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತೇಳ್ರಿ.
Other BJP ministers have asked for the Law Minister to quit.
ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಕೂಡಲೇ ಸಚಿವ ಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಆ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಭಾಗ, ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಅಂಶದಲ್ಲೂ ಅವರು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನಾರ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಪಾಲ್ದಾರ.
All right, joining us on the panel, we have Krishna Bairagowda, senior Congress leader from Karnataka. We have Nasir Hussain, who's a senior leader from the JDS. Pooja Prasanna, deputy editor of the News Minute, is joining us from Bengaluru. But let's first start with Asif Bhamla, spokesperson of the BJP. What do you make of this, Asif Bhamla, that your own ministers in Karnataka are saying that the government is simply being managed? And when the minister is asked to clarify, he says, yes, I did say that because I was provoked, that the government is being managed.
You see, I don't understand such, conversations, of which there are already clarifications given. You think I don't see any reasons why there could be any implications on the change of the CM when there is no internal fighting or there is no internal problems like it is in a Congress
Asif
party.
Bhamla, sorry. I'm saying I never mentioned, I never asked you about change of CM. I'm saying the minister is saying the government in Karnataka is not being run. It is simply being managed till elections.
You see, I'll tell you what, Srinivasan, when at times there are these abrupt callers who call the ministers who are with their very daily schedules. So because as a public representative, they have to answer. So at times they do go with the flow and they answer. But then in the process, there is provocation. And he himself agreed and justified that this was the problem. And not that he's lying that he has not even said it. Okay?
Asif Bamla, hold on. He's a minister in the government. He's a minister in the government. He gets, once again, he gets provoked. I'm saying I'm responding to you. I'm saying he gets provoked to agree with somebody that the government is not being run. It's being managed. I mean, what does that say about the state of affairs of the BJP government in Karnataka?
When he is a minister, there are elements that try, and to avoid this, they do say. But now, having said that, now there are two things to that. Not that he's dismissing that I have not mentioned it, so he's not even lying it. But again, he says that he was provoked and he's apologized for the same. And of course, let me put this right on record to you that there is no change there whatsoever. I think the Honorable Chief Minister Basavaraj is doing a fine job. Okay. And he did also mention this, that it was in the context with the bank demanding the interest.
I know, bank demand is one thing.
I don't understand.
To say the minister is, the minister to say 8 months we're not running the government, we're managing it. It's quite. Anyway, let me just get.
Why is it running so out of proportion?
Okay.
Why don't you take up issues that are there in Rajasthan, where there are so many serious problems? This is a very peacefully running straight, and let me tell you.
No, 1 second, Asif Bamla. This is not. Asif Bamla, 1 second. Now you've got into something else. This is the heights of whataboutery. Okay.
My dear,
this
again,
is like saying I've been asked.
We will be back into power, and you will see that. And Mr.
Bommai
will be the Chief Minister.
But we are here tonight.
So
we are not this show. We are
pill,
debating Karnataka, so we have to stay with Karnataka. Krishna Bairagowda, what do you make of this response by the BJP? They say this kind of a comment doesn't really mean anything. Everything in the BJP government in Karnataka is hunky dory.
First of all things in Karnataka are not hunky dory, because even as we celebrate 75 years of independence, there have been stabbings and law and order problems in parts of Karnataka. Just barely 10-15 days ago, there were murders in parts of Karnataka. So the law and order is also not fine. The health of Karnataka's economy is not fine. And coming to the question, all these are happening because, as the minister has very frankly in a private moment admitted himself, the government is not being run, it is just being managed from day to day. So this root cause is manifesting itself in all sorts of problems for Karnataka. And the minister who has said it, Mr. Madhuswamy, is the Minister for Law and Parliamentary Affairs. He's a fairly senior person and a prominent member of the cabinet. So he is not to be treated lightly either, and he is admitting it, and is subsequently in his reaction also he is not denied it. So fact is what the minister has said, that it is not being run, they are just pulling it from day to day, and that's a sad part. Forget the politics of it. It's unfortunate for Karnataka that we don't have a government that we deserve. I'm not saying any government is perfect, but to come down to this level of dragging their feet instead of governing a state is a disservice to the state of Karnataka.
Okay. Let's just get Asif Bamla to respond to that before I go to the rest of the panel. Asif Bamla, as Krishna Bairagowda says, this is a very senior minister who's making these comments. You can't just brush it aside. And he says it reflects the wider malaise that there is an unraveling. There is communal violence almost every other day. There is a corruption scandal every other day. Surely you concede there's a problem.
No, I certainly will not concede. Of course, problems are in all states. It's not just confined to Karnataka A. B, as my
but
my
that
friend
doesn't
from
make it any better.
No, let me complete. No, the problem is that you guys don't let us submit actually.
Okay.
So, also, as my friend from the Congress mentioned, that the health of the government and the party is not fine. Let me submit that the health of the party is extremely fine, because there's a very senior leader like a Yedurappa whose choice, who's a very strong Lingayat leader there, who's very experienced, has a vast experience, and the current Chief Minister is of his choice. So firstly, we have no differences and ambiguity in the government there, like the Congress has between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. So you please better get your house in order.
If Yediyurappa ji is so great, why did you shunt him out of government then?
It's okay. The change is always there. Changes are always there in governments. Why did you change your Punjab Chief Minister? Was he not doing? Captain was doing a good job. Why did you change him to get another joker?
Because Asif, you only were praising Yediyurappa ji. I guess that's why the question
Just barely
came
a few seconds ago.
I am saying, yeah. So there is. He was. His age was there.
So if he was
on his
so
side,
great,
so
why did you change him then? If he was such a tall leader, he was such a great leader, why did you change him?
He had to catch up on his age, and I think since he was very senior leader.
So now suddenly he's not so great.
No, he is great. He's also a senior leader, and he's also directing the Honorable Chief Minister there. So you don't have to worry about that. That's what I'm saying.
He's also directing the Chief Minister.
So that's the issue. So that you mean to say Mr. Bommai Saab is a puppet Chief Minister being managed from behind?
No, Mr. Puppet, there is no. Well, he is.
No, you just
Mr.
said.
Yediyurappa has served his term. Listen to me, gentlemen. Don't try to confuse me, or don't get me on the wrong.
No. 1 second, Asif Bamla, you can't monopolize. 1 second, Asif Bamla, I don't want to lower mics, but you just clearly said, we all heard it. You said he's being directed by Mr. Yediyurappa. This is the allegation being made that Mr. Bommai is a puppet.
Not directed. Listen to me. आप लोग इतना interjection करते हो कि हमारे मुंह से कुछ शब्द ऐसे निकालना चाहते हो.
आप जो बताया
Okay, as a senior experienced veteran there, Mr. Yediyurappa has all rights to share, to advise. What's wrong in that? The Chief Minister
you said direct,
is in the same
anyway,
party.
okay.
They're not in a different party. So what's wrong in that?
Okay.
Wrong?
Okay, all right. Let others speak also. Pooja Prasanna, how
you aren't coming to the real issues, and
okay, 1 second. Pooja,
around the wrong
you've been holding the floor non-stop. Pooja Prasanna, how acute, beyond these daily clips coming out and all of that, what is really going on within the BJP government? How deep is the crisis?
Well, the confession that has been leaked is something that many BJP leaders have been telling us off the record, that yes, Bommai has a position, he has been made the Chief Minister, but does he really have the power in the government? That is the larger question. And many of them do admit that, while he was a makeshift sort of a Chief Minister, there are several other senior leaders who do not want him to stabilize beyond a point, because they feel that if he is stabilized, then perhaps next time if the BJP does come back to power, then their chances will, diminish. So there are several factions within the BJP too who do not want Bommai to be seen as an assertive leader. On the other hand, there have been several attempts made by Basavaraj Bommai to show that he can be a leader of RSS and BJP's liking. Let's remember that he comes from the Janta Parivar. He does not have his political roots in RSS. So we've seen him go into some sort of an overdrive to prove his loyalty to the Sangh, its ideology, and to the BJP as well.
Okay. But tell me, Nasir Hussain of the JDS, the fact is that, the point the BJP makes that yes, there may be allegations of corruption, this, that, but, which government in Karnataka has been exempt from that, including, governments led by the JDS? Nasir Hussain.
Firstly, I think the JDS government was never a single government. We were twice, Kumar Swamiji was the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Both times it was a coalition government. Now, the present Bommai government, I think this is one of the most weakest government. And in the previous 6 months, we have been seeing Karnataka, the issues in Karnataka have been raised. I think this has been great, not in the good taste, be it the hijab issue, be it the Azan issue, be it the several other reasons where in the social fabric, the government is trying to disturb. In the South Canada, there have been youths who have been murdered, and the government, the Chief Minister, he's been visiting to a house of a particular community. I think Karnataka has never seen such a weak Chief Minister. This is the weakest Chief Minister. And unfortunately, BJP does not have any other alternate face except for Yediyurappa. There is no leader in the BJP Karnataka who is accepted pan Karnataka. Unfortunately, BJP is left with no taste, and the truth which Madhuswamiji has expressed.
I think Krishna Bharagauda, I'm coming to you in a second. PKD Nambiar, this fact that, you know, that the Chief Minister, just look under his watch, you've had the hijab row, you had attacks on Christians, you've had a Bitcoin scam, you've had the Contractors Association. You've had the Contractors Association, PKD, writing to the Prime Minister saying that there is rampant corruption in the BJP government. You have a problem in Karnataka. You'll accept that. I think you're on mute. PKD, mute.
No, I can hear you very clear. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I'm just, I can only say that there is a conspiracy against this government from the last couple of years. Even if you really look at it, Karnataka has always been a progressive state, which was always maintained a communal harmony. But unfortunately, over the years, started from the Mangalore region, Mangalore-Udupi region, and from there now onwards to Shimoga and Hubli, to all the places, there is some kind of a narrative to create communal tension is already on the way. And we all know that the CPI, PFI and such fractions are working very, very aggressive to create some kind of an element, which is also somewhere or the other way, the knowingly or unknowingly.
Unfortunate that you would put it like that, PKD, because I mean, what about all the attacks on Christians? I mean, that you can't blame the PFI for that. There were a string of attacks.
Srinivasan, one thing I'll tell you, if there are, in a large state like Karnataka, if there are one or two incidents, which is understandable, that's okay.
There were over a dozen.
Treated as a local affair. But when it comes to a concerted effort to create communal disharmony in the society, which is happening more of like in a fashion, it's not like it has never been in the case in the past. So that clearly gives a feeling that, and it is supported by the opposition in a directly or indirectly, and also to create a feeling that yes, this government and this chief minister is a very
all right, Krishna Bharagauda.
Effort to malign the
right, Krishna, we'll come back to you, PKD. We'll just get your video back up. Krishna Bharagauda, the fact is that Congress may attack the BJP for being a weak house or a divided house, but the Congress itself is a divided house. Your top two leaders always seem to be skirmishing with each other.
Well, I will not skirt around the issue. See, when there are two tall leaders involved, there is bound to be some chemistry. But our party is actively dealing with the issue, and
is it chemistry or is it friction?
The leaders by themselves are fine, but there are people who are around the leaders who create a lot of problem for the party as well as for the leaders. But party is firmly dealing with these issues. We have had straight, frank conversations amongst ourselves, and we have identified how we are, if this continues, we would be failing the expectations of the people. So party is very seriously dealing with those issues.
That's
and we take the observation and we are working very...
No, Krishna Bharagauda.
Yes.
That's a significant point you're making. You're saying that the party has looked into this infighting and has accepted that if it continues, it could hurt your chances.
If I were to deny what you just said, I don't think I would be doing anybody any favors, right? So that's, people expect us. See, one thing is for sure. People in Karnataka are fed up with the current government. They want a credible alternative. 2013 to 18, we gave a very stable and a very credible government. So that's what people expect from Congress. And any confusion in the leadership would be a distraction, and people would lose confidence in us about a stable government.
Okay, that's quite honest.
So we should be focused on giving a better government to people of Karnataka that they deserve. And this government is definitely failing on that. I think there is consensus emerging amongst the people. Forget what we say.
So that's okay. That is quite candid, I must say. Pooja Prasanna, is that how also it is being seen?
Can I, Mr. Jain, can I just take quickly maybe a minute and a half? See, post-COVID. Post-COVID.
Krishna, let me come back to you. I'll just come back to you in a second because I must rotate the strike. Pooja Prasanna, the point that Krishna Bharagauda conceding is that also the perception you're also when you pick up on the ground that while there may be some animus against the current government, divided House Congress could score a self-goal?
Well, yes, definitely. I mean, we have seen how both parties have too many factions working against each other. But as on today, Congress does seem a little more united than the BJP, especially after that grand, united front that they put up for Siddaramaya's birthday. Now, I can't comment on how long this bonhomie will last, and that's for Mr. Baidegowda to know better. But at this point of time, what we're picking up is BJP leaders seem to be working more against each other at this moment than Congress. They seem to have somehow, struck some sort of a very delicate balance where the two leaders seem to have come to some understanding. But now it's up to also their supporters to ensure that they continue with this and they don't come out in the media and make some unwarranted statements against each other.
Right. PK Ramyar, you may talk of conspiracies and all that, but at the end of the day, will the Congress have to make will the BJP have to make some hard choices about Basavaraj Bommai? Like we saw in Gujarat, BJP is not averse to it. In Himachal, Uttarakhand, multiple chief ministers were changed.
There is BJP has always taken these strong decisions whenever it is required. But as of now, what we have been told or we heard, even the topmost leaders have gone to the city of Bangalore and declared that it will be, the Bommai is going to continue and there will be the election, the next election will be contested under his leadership. See, I think, we always can have, there is nothing called as a perfect government. So you can have complaints, you can have corruption charges, you can have different allegations, that is fine. But beyond a point, if you are going just like as if why I was talking about this conspiracy, you can see the fashion in which is happening. Which was never the case with the Karnataka's politics.
Once again.
Overall, Srinivasan, you follow the politics so well better than me.
I'm saying in a show like mine, you can go with a conspiracy theory, unproven conspiracy theory without any evidence. You can maybe have one stab at it, but I can't give free rein to that.
I can give you proof.
Surely you know that. It's not about you. I'm saying there is a state government. If there is evidence of any conspiracy, it is for them to act. It is not something to be circulated just, on rumors and WhatsApp and so on. But let me wind down. Okay, we are winding down on time. Krishna Baidegowda.
Can I come? Yes.
Yes.
So two quick points I want to make. One is, last 1 year, post-COVID, all that we have heard in Karnataka are communal clashes, murders, and severe law and order problems. Karnataka has been a peaceful state, but seems like the contribution of the current government is to permanently damage the harmony of Karnataka. Barring the communal clashes or whatever clashes, murders, what you hear in news in the last 1 year is about corruption. Corruption has been there in every government. Let us not, skirt around that again. Yeah. But in the last 1 year, we have not heard anything but corruption. Contractors Association coming out openly saying that 40% is the kickback.
Right.
Police recruitments. 234 people have been identified as having falsely gone through the examination process in return for consideration. So in the 1 year, we have not heard about one positive thing coming out of Karnataka. This is a broad point. Number two, on the issue of Chief Minister, if the BJP representatives have been trying to repeat themselves that, there is no leadership change, then the Chief Minister is on record, I want to ask them through you, on record asking for a permission for cabinet reshuffle for the last 6 to 8 months. Why is the Chief Minister then denied his request for a cabinet reshuffle for 6 to 8 months?
Right.
If not, there is a change of leadership. What else?
Can I just come back? Can I just quickly give a rebuttal?
Yeah.
Can I come in?
No, I think
and this is the Chief. I am quoting the Chief Minister. This is not. Chief Minister is on record asking for permission.
Srinivasan, can I just quickly give a rebuttal?
Very quickly. I have literally no time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Congress, what they need to do is that they need to look within themselves. There is definitely multiple factions within the Congress. just to undermine the weakness of Congress and just to cover it up, just going and attacking the government may not be in the right, interest.
Okay.
Tell them not to worry, the CM certainly not losing the job.
I'm asking on behalf of people of Karnataka.
Okay.
I may be a congressman,
my
but
friend,
I also
don't
have
worry.
loyalty.
Okay,
to
Nasir
people of
Hussain,
Karnataka.
yes, Nasir Hussain.
I'm
Nasir
asking,
Hussain.
why is our
I'd like to mention
Giving it to Nasir Hussain, I don't know what the charm he has.
Okay,
the only
Nasir Hussain,
political
yes,
party
Nasir
in
Hussain,
Karnataka,
yes.
the Janata Secular.
Can I come
we
in?
have got a leader who is the ex-chief minister, and when we are very much clear, there is no dispute that the future Karnataka is chief minister will be H.D. Kumaraswamy. I
H.D.
think
Kumaraswamy.
the workers, yeah, definitely. Krishna
He may not be even dreaming that anymore now.
Hope springs eternal.
He is indirectly supporting Mr. Siddaramaiah ji.
That may be a
Giving
joke.
the example of his 5 years of his government, I don't think.
Okay, Asif Bamla, you get the last word.
Easy.
Asif Bamla, but very brief. Yes, Asif Bamla.
Certainly, Madhuswamy, for what has happened, he is part of the government and he's there in every part of the cabinet decision and in every cabinet meeting.
Will he be penalized for his comments?
No, certainly what he has done is not right, and I'm sure the leaders higher up have given him the information how things have to go further from here.
Okay.
But let me with that also assure you that CM has been assured to speak to all the concerned authorities and settle them out, and certainly CM is not in danger of losing the job.
CM is not in danger. All right. Okay. All right, Asif Bamla. Let's see how it plays out. Thank you all so much for joining us. You've been a great panel. Thank you so much for watching Reality Check. Good night.